Nia tove shenia savaliana. Ni save sene, ni tavelua. Misen onon mariandoro kila ndonda riavala kotovashana sera kete. Tishana tilakoa. Natila longo liana mayalanda riavatotorbasha sendo. Kimala liauro liambongode. Plianda deandara shosombo pangoyalanda. Ilandoa sate satondo. Tiashanatea. Good day, good love, good light. It is in divine loving grace, gratitude, honor, and appreciation that we engage and interact with all of you today. Thank you for joining us and bringing your guides here together with us at our table today as we share with you our very first Hourglass light language activation. So we're testing out our new live options here and just having fun, a little fun with it, learning some things along the way. So if you are new to my channel, thank you, welcome. I'm Wendy, this is Dave, and today and all days and all nows and every now is now we share our highest joys and excitements, whether it's impromptu, whether it's preempted and scheduled. And so this is just another way that my spirits have guided me to kind of invite sort of maybe pre-planned, maybe impromptu, these hourglass readings, because if you've caught up on a couple of the videos, I shared a little bit about finding my my hourglass, and I said we would do some hourglass readings. And so the idea really is to kind of catch us all off guard, be a little bit more spontaneous, and this goes for me too, to follow my own synchronicities and spontaneity, and just say, okay, maybe today is a good day to do it. So I scheduled it for 4:44 for energetic, obvious, angelic, and of course enter higher dimensional reading purposes. So thank you and welcome. So I'm going to grab my hourglass here, and if there's anything you'd like to share, Dave, as well. So, the idea really was to if you're new to light languages, and you're looking for, if you have questions, and for us to share our light languages with you and help all of you activate and raise your frequency to assist you in helping you connect with your own spirit guides, but more connecting with your own inner guidance and your own answers. And of course, the oracle cards are just another fun way to bring your questions to your guides and see what messages are there for you in this now. And the idea was to keep it as succinct with the hourglass as possible, because if any of you do know me, we do like to, I love what I do here. And so with that said too, if you guys are looking for a private personal session, light language activations, oracle readings, and crystals, I really, there's so many things that interest me, and as well as specifically my own symbols that I draw, and to help all of us activate more and more of all that we are, and your connections to your spirit guides, your ET guides, your parallel lives, your counterparts, all the other aspects and fractals of all that you are. So really this sort of encompasses all of that. And so I wanted to give a quick kind of explanation a little bit before I turn over the hourglass. So it sort of adds to the excitement to know too that I want to keep myself to only the 30-minute hourglass. And maybe if things are going fun and we want to extend it, I thought, well, I would turn it over once. But really the idea is to keep it at 30 minutes. Keep it brief and exciting, and I wanted to welcome all of you who are out there who just happened to see us go live. So thank you. And so anything you'd like to share, Dave?
Well, I'm welcome everybody. I guess the first thing is, of course, you could go to Wendy's website, languagesoflights.com, for more information, to sign up to her website, to get sessions, and so forth. So I'm going to be paying attention to the phone, which has a YouTube chat on it that we could see. So if anyone has anything particular that they're interested in asking the oracle cards about and asking Wendy about, then I will relay that to her, and because this is really about for all of you and for you to participate. So I will be watching the phone, and as the hourglass sands through the hourglass. So,
and this is our way too of practicing for me as a creator, and I wanted to welcome all of you too, because you are all also creator beings, and that's part of this idea too, is you create your own reality. And so the idea too is I wanted to learn more about the tech side of just creating on the fly, creating live on the fly, playing with this a little bit more. So thank you for bearing with me and my experimentation as well. So as I'm learning more about how to express myself in different ways in different places as well. So kind of just having a little bit of fun with learning to go live.
So of course, like I said, if you want Wendy to pull a card for you and give you a message specifically for you, let me know, and I will let her know as I'm sitting next to her, and we'll see exactly what happens. But my guess is that she will, connect into your energy and get a message for you specifically. And while we're waiting for someone to say that they want that, I guess you can pick a few cards and talk about what you want. And
yes, absolutely. So I wanted to say hello to all who are watching, and I just want to say I was checking the chat, beginning hope. So hello and welcome. So yeah, like Dave said, if you've got any specific questions, let me know. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and turn over the hourglass.
Okay. And they don't have to be specific questions.
No, not at all.
You could just say pull
me a card for me. Pull a card for me. And I've got lots of different decks to choose from. I grabbed a couple just right now. I grabbed a couple that I hadn't used in a little bit, and one of them was in the spirit also of activations. One of them is the Sacred Geometry Oracle and Activations Oracle. And so I haven't used this in a little while, and I was guided to it. So I think that obviously when that happens, that there's some message for anybody out there. So remember that every now is now, whether you watch this live or not. And if you do check if you're watching it in the replay, remember that too. Your questions are always answered, whether it's in that moment or but it's always going to be in the perfect moment for you. And that's one of the messages I wanted to remind everybody of too, is that we play a lot of dates and things like that. And actually today's July 9th. So 2022, and so a lot of times the dates may correspond with an activation that I may have, that the numbers may correspond to that day as well. So so with that said, one of the reasons I think I was guided to this particular deck, this is because it also includes numbers as well as sacred geometry, as well as numbers and the message itself. So, and the back of the card is our sacred flower of life, if you will, and I do have the book here too. And sometimes I refer to it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes if I feel that the book might be part of the message, then I'll reveal that as well if I'm guided. And Dave may actually, I may actually have him grab a couple, or I may grab other decks that I have got behind me as well, if I'm so inspired.
So Beginning Hope asks to pull a card for.
Alrighty.
For I think it's a her. I'm looking at the icon. And someone named Ryan says hello.
Hello, hi. Nestevesonote, welcome. Nialonde vesonumaro taveshe. Sesupanono tovande keno shadaria. Lesovasomole teleatovashono. Alangana niatove shosove sate. Si vashano tovelo. Thank you all for following your highest joys and simultaneous synchronicities with us. So know that too, if if you are so inspired to join us in our channel, know that you are on definitely on masters of the masters and the teachers of the teachers and creator beings, and this is to empower us all.
Hourglass.
Hourglass. All right, here we go, guys. Thank you. Here's the beautiful hourglass. I just turned it over. So starting now, we'll be going by the 30 minutes. And I'll keep that here right by us, right in front of us. Oh, and so not in front of you though. Okay, so the first card we pulled is 21, Divine Feminine. The frequency of Divine Feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. And that is truly probably the biggest message in my excitement in sharing this channel is empowering everyone. And actually it's funny that because Dave and I were talking about this a little while ago today, and truly empowering all of us to understand our connection to all of creation and the power that we have to create the reality that we desire when we understand that sometimes we need the softer side of ourselves and the bringing forth of the divine feminine. And actually that's something that sometimes actually I find in many ways often Dave can be more nurturing even than me, and sometimes I have to remind myself too to employ my own divine feminine as well. And so this is also a message for me in that the divine feminine also being that it supports our receptive and nurturing and soft side, it allows us to take pause and be more receptive and allowing rather than the pushing. And this is something that we've been talking a little bit about too, as far as allowing our decisions to be made from that softer, gentle side of us, the non-hurried, the acting from the receptive place from our guides rather than from our own how do I want to put this, the pushing of it. And I think that the divine feminine in this moment is representing the idea of following our divine instincts. And I appreciate and allow and value Dave's divine feminine instincts as much as I value my own. And so it is not about male, female. It's about nurturing that side of ourselves. And it doesn't matter male, female, or anything else in between. So, and I'm absolutely loving the colors as well. The brilliance and the vibration of these.
Okay, let's pick a card specifically for beginning hope. See what message is for her.
Well, that too was a message. Of course, definitely a message. For divine hope as well as all of us.
Yes, that card was
You know, it's funny. Sometimes as soon as I start reading the cards, literally my temperature goes up and my glasses start fogging up. Oh, and divine hope indeed. What a lovely, lovely, what's the word I want to say? I don't know. What was the word? Anyway, when somebody goes by a moniker. Yeah. When they go by a particular name, I like that.
Heather Houston.
Heather! Woman! Nia tove selo ya shano tove hena. Kela so parianso tove shino tove alo kuea. Sino so. Okay, nia sofe. Number 2, Sacral Chakra. And one of my favorites today because we have been admiring the sunflowers. And immediately I thought of the sunflowers when I saw this card just now. and we were admiring, of course, the multidimensionality of the sunflowers. And then Dave discovered actually by doing a little research, that each sunflower contains at least 1,000 individual flowers within itself.
Yeah,
And
the middle of the sunflowers are actually individual flowers.
And so it was really funny because and I've shared this before, that one of the incense that Dave introduced me to a few years ago is actually called 1,000 Flowers. And I'm a flower girl, love flowers. Many of my videos are about the flower colors and the activations and how they affect, and when we connect with nature and when we connect with the colors and how they activate and affect our chakra system. And so it's very interesting that this particular one would pop up. It's number 2. And it also happens to be the flower of life card as well. So it's very interesting when we look at that sunflower, and of course it reminds us of vibrancy and summer and sunshine. And so for those of you in the northern hemisphere, we are in the heat of heat. It felt like over 100 degrees Fahrenheit today here in where we are here in central Alabama. And to all of you in the southern hemisphere, so here's to bringing you some heat and sunshine and sunflowers for those of you experiencing winter this time of year. And so I've always admired and admired photographs of sunflowers for that very reason, because they represent to me the connection of all of us. And if we see ourselves, each of us, as a sunflower, we understand that we are all flowers of the same beautiful one source flower. And when our sacral chakra is energized, this is where we are just shining. This is where we express ourselves. This is where we show our shine. And so I wanted to read and so if there's something that you are excited and burning to do, perhaps this is your answer to follow that sunshine. Maybe a sunflower is going to be your symbol. Maybe you're going to drive somewhere or look at something and you're going to see a sunflower and you're going to think of this moment and you're going to say, oh my God, that's my sign from my guides. Maybe you'll see one on the internet. Maybe, who knows? The frequency of the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. And I love how the different colors of the sunflowers contain that orange, bright sacral chakra energy, along with the solar plexus sunshine energy, that yellow and orange. I am fogging up my glasses. I feel it just bursting from inside of me. So that place of creation. And it's funny because being the divine feminine, okay, too, now we're talking about the sacral chakra area, the place of creation, the place where we birth things, the place where we nurture nurture the new beginning of something. And that supports the ability to flow with our desires, supports the ability to flow with our desires. And that is something that another interesting synchronicity about what we've been working on as fervently really for the last few days is just that, about being in the frequency of our desires and making our decisions and not creating actions, but allowing the inspired action to just take us with the flow of it. I hope this helps and resonates perhaps with you a little bit. Maybe there's something going on in your life that you want to nurture and share and give birth to something new, and moving through that. And I will say, for anybody who, and this goes for any parent of any kind, that or any birth of anything that you're doing, whether it's a business or something new, or just creating something new, that feeling um, that that love, that pure love from that creative place. There was something else I was going to say, and it jumped out of my
Mhm.
head.
Well, I was just looking at the first card to start the reading is number 21, which is also 777.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting.
And we just had the 7/7 portal. Dave and I met 4 years ago on 7/7. So uh, perhaps that was worth sharing as well. That sometimes we need to, and actually it was during a time too well, that's beside the point. I don't want to waste time on that. But the idea also is really stimulating our creative power to manifest success and truly believing in it. And oh, I was going to say, when new parents and whether it's new parents creating a child or whether you're creating something new, that um, that adoration, that unconditional love, and when we and so um, again, the concept just it's as if the spirits leave me with something, and then I'm like, okay, um, what was the message there? And so anyway, I'll come back to
Mhm.
it. I was looking to see if there was anything else, but really the to manifest the success and abundance in our lives has is been first and foremost. So this too is a very synchronistic card for me as well, as we've been doing a lot of visualizations and uh, the excitement of knowing that something new is birthing. I guess that's the message I was going for, that the excitement and anticipation of knowing that it's already done, it's already on the way, it's already here, and the anticipation of the process of that birthing. I need a drink of water. You know, and I just had another really quick message that came to me. I don't know if any of you or if many of you remember. This is The Cat in the Hat from the Dr. Seuss series of books, the children's series. And I've been meaning to mention this, and I was just guided a moment ago that often when our lives feel the most chaotic and the biggest mess, and if you've ever read the Cat in the Hat story, um, specifically, it was this created this huge mess, and the kids had just such a great time, and it was the most exciting time of their lives. And so if you've ever been in a position where you feel like your life is so completely chaotic, and then all of a sudden the storm passes, everything's calm and quiet again. Everything gets put back together right before mom walks in the door, and um, calm is restored. And yet, the experience that they had, invaluable. Uh, So, I'm not sure what that message was or for why or for who, but it was this. There's always the calm after the storm, whether it's the spiritual storm, whether it's that aha moment, whether it's a realization of something that you just learned about yourself. I had a huge like epiphany today, and it was the same old things I've heard a million times, but something clicked different today. Something changed in my own self-empowerment, that it doesn't matter what it looks like around you. It doesn't matter what it looks like around you. The calm is here. The calm is here.
Mhm.
You know?
Heather's asking for a card now too.
Ooh, hey Heather. You know what, Heather?
Mhm.
Do you want the same deck, or do you want? I have another deck here too. So I mean, I just grabbed another. Just yeah. Well, here, I'll show it to you. I also grabbed the Angels and Ancestors Oracle, and of course I have several others. But I just all of a sudden I was going to ask you if you which one you wanted it from.
Well, you're the oracle.
And I wanted to say, well, that's why I picked it up. So I guess I guess I automatically picked it up. See, I should trust my own instincts, right? Guardian, and this is what this is about, and that's what my sessions are about, about empowering all of us to trust our instincts totally. Guardians of the four corners, Mother in the earth, Father in the sky, angels, ancestors, sacred ones, I call on you and welcome you here now. And the other thing I love about this deck is I love all the images. This is one of my favorite decks. And on the inside of the back, I set the intention that whatever is gained from the lessons learned from this tool will be dedicated to the growth of all beings in all places. And that is something that I was reminded just now by this, is to remind us all that when we gather together, we change everything. We change all that is. We're connected to all that is and everything within it. And when we have an aha moment, when we have an epiphany, when we are following our joy, we dedicate that excitement to all beings in all places. And when we are following our highest joy, when we're having epiphanies from our guides, our other fractals, our other counterparts that are currently living other lives, other planets, other realities, other timelines, I was gonna say time zones, timelines, it's all happening now, and what we are doing today together right now is affecting everything in all places quantumly. So,
And Heather does say angels and
all right. You funny girl. Nesivisono yashalohayata. Sanoso oshoto usu unamiala elandoye shasokela la hisoto rivasana niavara condol vishosoe laveno namoro kosho. And if any of you are out there, whether you're now or whenever you watch this, if light language is something that's new to you, if it's something that excites you, if it's something that you want to activate, give me a holler. That's something that excites me a great deal. Among so many other things, of course. Nelo seto. And what I have found with my excitement in my own light languages and hand signing and singing and drumming and symbols, that it has all been tools for me to literally connect with the other aspects of all that I am and all of my counterparts. And what did you say about them coming off the page? Oh, seeing the symbols floating around and looking and seeing and seeing them as
they're symbolic representations of frequency of all the things in your vortex.
All, yes. And I was like, oh my God, that's how it feels. Like they're floating around me, and they're floating around you. And these are the signs and the symbols of all the things that you're creating you've created. See, this is where we act from the place of it's already done. It's because it is done. You're creator beings, you guys. You are creator beings. What you see is what you create. And I'm getting more and more excited about it. And you can hear it from people from the last. I was listening to Neville Goddard. I'm listening to this and I'm like, okay, this is the same information. It's all the same, which makes it amazing because it's all the same. We can validate and can verify that we are creators. Direction, guardian, choose your path. What a perfect message. So what's going on, Heather? You got to choose a new path. Are you looking for a new direction? This is saying, and it's interesting because it's got the different animals on here too. Direction, guardian, choose your path. And this has been with Dave and I. This is the first part of manifestation, is knowing what you want. Choosing your path is just simply knowing what you want. It can be specific or it can be general. We've heard this a million times, you guys. We've heard, but it's not in we don't know it like we know it like we breathe. We don't know it like we breathe yet. Choose your direction. Once we visualize and imagine where we want to be, understand it's done now. Now it's done. Now it's the process of allowing it to happen, believing it will happen, and literally picturing ourselves and becoming the vibration Doesn't matter, Abraham, Bashar, Neville Goddard, all of Bob Proctor, all of these motivational teachers and speakers say the same thing from a different place in that crystal. We're all teachers of teachers, all of us, all this teacher crystal. We are all teachers of the same soul group of teachers, and yet we're all facets from the same apple, same source, same God, seeing things from a different perspective, but yet we're all teachers to each other. I am a teacher as I am a student. I am a student as I am a teacher. And yet we are all here teachers of each other, of teachers. And so teaching these principles is exciting to me because it empowers all of us to stop looking at the outside world and circumstances around us to create our decisions, to create what we believe, create what we think was possible for ourselves. And my guides have been saying to me, choose a direction, choose a path that you prefer, and visualize what it feels like every single day. We've heard this a million times. So where this message is like pushing, like powerful for you right now.
It's up to you.
Choose what path are you looking at that maybe you're afraid of, maybe, and Dave even says this to me too. Anxiety is often our excitement just filtered through negative belief systems. And I get very nervous and anxious when I'm getting ready to do something live, and you may not think that, but I do. Just ask him, especially when technology is like, oh my God, and I don't know what I'm doing, and he's like, just be calm, we'll figure it out. And so I'm learning along the way, and what's the worst thing that'll happen? It crashes and I got to start over. Oh well, it's like, okay.
So Heather says she's going to schedule with you soon. And she says, trusting myself to make the right choice has been an issue for me recently.
Well,
thank you. It resonates.
Then I guess that is. And you know what? Me too.
And Ryan asks for
Ryan, do you want, now I've got other decks too, but do you want, if you have a suggestion, if you have a request, I'd rather allow you to make your request, or I can pick it for you.
And Leela Venusian.
Okay, guys.
I would love to activate and learn light language.
Oh, yes. Excellent.
So we could give a light language activation as well.
All right.
And of course, you could always contact Wendy through her website.
Always.
Languagesvillage.com.
Links are below.
Mm-hmm.
All my social media stuff. Yeah, I'm so bad about that, you guys, because I do this because I love it so much, and I always forget, to even tell people what my website is. So
I think everybody knows now to look at the description.
I think so, but, anyway. Oh, well, I'm shuffling this deck for you, Ryan, so I'm hoping we pick the same ones. But, of course, I have another deck here, so... Okay. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Okay, Dave. They fell on the floor. So.
2 cards up and 1 card down. If that means anything. Like upside down. That'll be a surprise. Guess not.
Well, I won't look at it then. See yourself singing and speaking light languages. Visualize yourself seeing it, speaking it, saying it, enjoying it, talking to your guides. Okay, it's summertime, you guys. Summer. So this is Ryan's card. The B. And the hexagons. I'm noticing the hexagons. Bask in joy and light. So it's interesting that I was mentioning summer earlier. And when I think of this, when I'm hearing this, seeing this message, basking in joy and light. One of the first things I hear is lighten up. One of the other things I hear is the joy of, so I'm literally tasting honey. So I'm like, okay. I was recalling the book that I was reading, The Shamanic Way of the Bee. And it's interesting when we see a bee and it's rolling around in the pollen, it literally is it literally activates this basking in joy within us. As we watch something like that, many of us are hesitant to bask in our own light and joy. Many of us are hesitant to, and I'm thinking now about all the things that a bee does for us and how multidimensional they are and how the reflection is. So they create honey, they create beeswax, they create light by the lighting of the beeswax. Honey is one of the most spiritual and I want to say healing, and I'm seeing also when we are applying honey, it is actually, antibacterial, it's healing. Where are you being invited to bask in your own joy, your own light? Where are you, I feel like, and I know this sounds weird, but when we're working for the good of the all, and in this case, and I'm not saying hive mentality necessarily, but when we're working for the good of the all, which means following your highest joy and excitement, basking in your own joy and your own light is something that even I have been invited to do and had hesitated to do. Nurturing the honey, whatever that means to you, the lifestyle, whatever that means to you, doesn't matter. To one man's riches is another man's curse. So it's what is the joy, the literal bliss that you're hesitating to allow yourself roll in. That's what I'm feeling. Like there's this and the manufacturing of the honey, meaning let's not be afraid to allow our work to bring us abundance, and the work being our fun, our play. Allow that joy to allow you to create that honey and feel that sweet nectar of that feeling, whatever that is for you, whether it's money, whether it's being with someone you love, whether it's living somewhere you love. And this message feels like it's not just for you, Ryan, but for all of us, for me too, for all of you watching in this now. And a whole deck of cards just fell in my lap. So, and the mystery card was Water Guardian. Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry. Fire. So we've got the heat of summer, fire. Ignite your passion. So, well, does that not just describe the message I just received?
And it's a guy on the card.
And this, yes, here, let me show you guys closer up.
There's a lot of
so if you could see, there's a lot of male and female cards in here, but and holding that so this isn't okay. This is really interesting because I already know what the next card is. Mm-hmm. This is very interesting. So Fire Guardian, ignite your passion. And again, where are you looking to ignite your passion and to bask in the honey, in the glory, in all of the things that you can produce from that work of joy? What is it that where is it that you need to fire up? And at the sacral chakra, we talked about earlier too, the sacral chakra. Where do we got to fire up that energy, that creative energy within What is it that you're looking to ignite once again? And
we're all reflections of each
of
other.
each other. So this
So
is all for me too.
all of these cards are really for everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now the hourglass is it out?
No?
Are you
We
sure?
have
Okay.
another minute.
So the last card of this is, of the spilling, if you will, and thank you for the inspiration, Ryan, is the water guardian. So we have, and then I'm reminded too of the womb and the sacral and the baby who's in the swimming in the water before it bursts into life, right? Water guardian, connect with your emotions. That's it. There's your answer. There's your answer. Oh God, I just got chills. Not even kidding, you guys. This is so weird.
Let's share something that we just found out today.
Oh my God. The water in the womb.
That by putting your intentions
in a glass
of
water. I've got water in here, you guys.
Because water holds the frequency of your thoughts, just like speaking light language into the things, your food, your water.
Yes,
your
and then
objects,
drink it.
And then drink it. And since your body is made up of mostly water, that frequency actually, in a physical sense, permeates into your body.
Absolutely, unequivocally. And because we are so much of a percentage of water, and this, Dr. Emoto, this is science, this is studied, it's already, fact and, published. I can't help but see the complete, okay, we've got the beautiful, soft, watery blue here, and then following this fire energy. I feel like the answer for all of us, and obviously specifically for you, Ryan, is don't be afraid to connect with your emotions, because that's what's going to fire you up. And I think that that's what this is happening for all of us. We are so afraid to show our emotions, and I'm the same way. I have hesitated to make video after video after video because I was so emotional that as soon as I went to even think about turning on the camera, I would burst into tears, or I would get, and as I've mentioned in a previous video, my mom just transitioned, and I was afraid to start videos because I was afraid I would start to cry in the middle of a video or start to think of her, and so, but I know I don't really need to worry about that, because if that happens, it's supposed to happen for a reason. So I feel like, and this goes for women as well as men, the divine, allowing that divine feminine to allow you to show your emotions. And that's one of the things that drew me to Dave. One of the things I fell in love with him about is because he, from the moment he wanted to express his emotions to me, he never ever hesitated, and still doesn't, to express his emotions to me. And that created a fire that, so it's interesting how the water and the flowing energy really does allow that to flow, and allow you to, when you connect with your emotions and your vulnerability, baby, you fly. It's like you create that basking.
Leela says, I used to practice a glass of water manifestation ritual years ago. This is a message that I need to return to this practice. Thank you.
Yeah, to wiesz, no biala con dajve more. See, you guys, what a reflection is this is for me too, because my heart chakra just like took just a jump, and I got all these chills just by you saying that. Now, do you guys see how when you resonate, it gives me this joy to know that I did this reading for a reason. I did it for you, whoever's there, whether you watch it now, whether you're watching it later, but right now, this energy that we're sharing together, I feel you. I feel your guides. I feel my guides right here gathering at this table. And that reinforces to me to continue to do this, because I enjoy it. And it brings out the sunshine in me, and it validates me. And it reminds me too that I have my own things, my own fears, my own desires I'm denying for reasons that, so all of this, again, your reflection of saying this back to me, and you're reminded about the water, Dave bringing up the water today, validates me, us, that we're receiving guidance, and it helps me to know I'm I can trust what I'm receiving. And so, and this happens all the time for me in my sessions. The last 7 years I've been on YouTube and doing private sessions. That is the most exciting thing. I was even joking about, I was telling you guys that we met via uh, video chat 4 years ago on 7/7. And that date actually equaled 7. And so it was a 777 energy. But the thing is that it, I went with the numbers instead of the point. Well, somebody needed to hear the 7/7.
Confirmation.
Yes, that. I had typically before a session I will go into meditation like the day before or the day and I start to get all this downloads of stuff. I couldn't believe how I got all this information, wrote it down, shared it with him that first day, and then when I got to know him and actually met him in person and then ended up being together and moving in with together, I couldn't believe how all the synchronicities of everything that I wrote on that piece of paper before I had even met him face to face, how accurate everything was. So that was the point I wanted to make with you guys, is that trust it. Trust what you're getting, whatever and how you're getting it. And then walk in the action mode, but from that place of that joy, that spontaneity, not that, not, and I don't even like to say the negative anymore. But again, it's not about the negative doesn't exist. It's a choice. It's a valid choice. It's just like everything else. But if we know we get to choose the opposite, then let's do that instead. Let's watch our self-talk. Let's watch what we say out to the world. And I am really need to hear that for myself too, because I will often say the opposite of what I want. So,
well, it's the nature of all things.
Okay.
That there's a positive and a negative side. They both exist, and it's up to you to decide which part you want to look at. And there's no right or wrong.
No. As Dave reminds me,
it might suit you.
The stick.
It might serve you to look at the negative side of the stick, so you can then enjoy the positive side of the stick even more. So even being in the negativity is positive.
Yes.
So even if you're just aware that by enjoying the negative side of the stick, you're serving a purpose that is a positive purpose by being able to enjoy more of the positive side of the stick, you've already tipped the scales to the positive side of the circumstance.
Just by
consciously being aware of the fact that that's how it works. And if you're watching this later, please let us know if you're enjoying these kind of things, so we could know to do it more. We're gonna follow our.
We do whatever. I'm always
do
gonna
it anyway.
But we like to know if
like
you guys enjoy it, and then of course it sparks us to want to do it more often, and so.
Or if there are particular cards that you have seen Wendy pull before that you like those decks and want us to do one of these hourglass readings with those particular decks, and probably maybe on the website we'll put a list of the decks at some point.
Oh, that's true.
So people could look and pick, or maybe in the video description we'll list 3 or 4 decks for the day.
That's true too. See, and you know it goes both ways too, because really then I also trust the spontaneity of whatever I decide to choose is going to be the right one for the right message for whoever's coming, and that I truly believe. That I truly believe. So, I was flipping through the cards and I got Merkabah. Number 32 equals 5. Merkabah, however you choose to say it. And it's interesting because I will say right now, the weirdest part that I just remembered is one of the things that before I met Dave, when I meditated on him, was I drew the Star of David, the Merkabah. Same thing. Now my glasses are fogging up again. And then when I met him, I don't even remember. I think you might have said it. Oh, that's right too, because I said I got the star. Oh, I said I got the Star of David, and then I heard King David, King Solomon. So then he tells me, well, I am Jewish. So you can't really make this stuff up, right? So I'm seeing King David, King Solomon, and the Star of David before I even met him. But this card I pulled just now, and so it reminded me of that synchronicity that day. The frequency of the Merkabah supports our ability to use our consciousness to traverse into layers of reality and dimensions, other layers of reality and dimensions. And this is what I was feeling a little bit earlier today too in the reading, that when we were talking, how we affect all of that is when we are excited and connecting, we feel the excitement of the connection of our counterparts, their higher selves, their higher selves, their counterparts, their soul families. So we really, when we look at this, we don't really completely comprehend how quantum we are when what we're doing here affects everything, because everything's now. And when we understand that more fully and understand the connection to these other parallel realities that our soul is living, regardless of whether it's another timeline or another planet or another, whether it's, in what we call our future, what we call our past, what we call, another complete dimension of reality. We're literally connecting and activating these synapses in our brains to more fully comprehend and connect. The more we do it, the more we're able to do it. And that's one of the things that my symbols have I'm always looking for adjectives, or descriptive ways of how it literally activated and changed my brain, the way I think and the way I was able to process information, and literally allowed me to begin to more and more activate my light languages, my connections to other beings, my connections to my own fractals of me, my Pleiadian self, my Lyran self, my, the other, and even that's so limiting, you guys. It is so limiting to think even just those, because this galaxy that we've created here it's just a small, very small piece of our whole quantum puzzle that we are.
So heart to hands massage with like a card pulled. She says, awesome, thank you. My name is Stacy and I've been open to light language a few years. I'm curious of the source who comes through me.
Well, that's a really good question. And I want to finish the wording on here. And it's funny. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into our present to serve our higher purpose. And I hadn't even read that yet, but that's exactly what I just said. Activating, your Akashic records are basically all the lives you are in every soul family and every one of your souls all the way up to source. That's your Akashic records. That's your inheritance, and merging the totality of that experience into your present and how that serves our highest purpose now. And so I felt it was important to complete that, and to remind us to see this spinning as a full dimensional aspect rather than a flat surface, and to literally see the points of all of the star points. And to and I'm reminded that when we look at the burst out Star of David, we see the Merkabah, we see the hexagon is in the center, the sixes, and then there's 6 points to it, and then also creating the 6 sides. So we've got the 666 energy, and which actually equals 12, which is 3, which is the Trinity. So interesting how that all came about as well. You know what? I think I sort of feel like I was, well, should
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, should I grab another deck or
Maybe
not?
I
I
need
was
to
like,
go.
well,
Maybe I need to.
maybe you need to, and see, 'cause I've got a bunch of decks over here on this table back here, and you're welcome, Heather. Thank you guys all. You guys, I just absolutely love this. I've got this table with all of my decks back there, and if you guys can see, I have a globe that's lit up,
Spirit.
lit up over there. Oh, that'd be it. That's a good one. Um, and I have a globe, and so I look at that globe every day, and I say how grateful I am to connect with all these beautiful, amazing souls all over the world. I feel so humbled and so grateful and appreciative, and I value all of you so much that I just wanted you to know that. See, I'm getting chills again because I feel you're coming back to me. So, and I think about that every day, and I look at the globe and I spin it, and I think I am so lucky to know and interact with such amazing people, and how light language just opened up a whole all of the multiverse to me, and so it excites me to share that with all of you as well. And the card is Shapeshifter. Oh my God, it's I love this. Okay, so it's got a serpent and a wolf, and I believe, is that an eagle? I think it's an eagle, could be a hawk. Transform and unveil your gifts. Oh my God, you guys. Transform the way you think about yourself and unveil your gifts. Be vulnerable. Allow your Merkabah to spin and create that space in that sacral chakra, living, breathing in the water. I don't know why I had to say that. Breathing in the water. Choosing your direction. Shapeshifter. You are a shapeshifter. When we say shapeshifter, literally, you're understanding that you are all of these things already. And shapeshifting also means bringing in those other aspects of ourselves. And in that moment, I've even had people say to me, like, right now you look like this, right now you look like that, right now you just shifted. So is it that we're really shifting our shape? We're bringing in the aspects of ourselves, and we can literally present that face to the person that we're talking to. And so it's very interesting how the energies in this card, and there's a lot of it. I'm gonna hold this up a little closer. And shapeshifter is also one of the levels of masters. So the ability to recognize that you're a shapeshifter is an essential part of the ascension, of your own ascension path, in identifying that shapeshifter literally means that you can transform yourself in that moment to hear the guidance and bring through that guidance, and you're literally creating that version of yourself in that moment. You're maybe I'm not saying that right. You're expressing that other version of yourself in the now, as if you're literally shape-shifting, and you're bringing in all of that spirit information from all your soul families, and literally able to not only shift, you're able to shape and shift your own reality when you understand that you have the power to connect between all of these aspects of ourselves. And it, again, literally, it allows us to unveil our gifts. This whole reading today feels like it's been a message for all of us about unveiling your gifts, about choosing who you see yourself to be.
Well, as we stepped through the gateway of 7-7, that's sort of giving all of us the opportunity to decide what is the future self that we want to be. It's funny, Stacey said, my heart is tied to the native culture.
Oh,
And it's funny because
me too.
I was drawn to that herb oracle deck
Oh, that's funny.
when I went over there, but
Oh,
I
you
was
know
sort
what?
of guided not to, sort of like she didn't need that one.
Well, I want to say that that's a very interesting synchronicity, and that's one of the reasons why I like this deck also, because it makes me, it helps me experience that part of myself too. The very first deck I ever got was the Native Spirit deck by Denise Lynn, and it it validated because some of the first guides that ever came to me were my Native American guides, and this goes way back, many years. But the funny thing is Dave and I were at a consignment store. Was it yesterday? And I came across these plates that, something of course I don't need, but it spoke to me, and it was these collector's plates, and it's Native American spirit, and I will show you guys, because it's one of the things I love to do, is show you guys some of the things that I find in these thrift stores, because it how and the weirdest things, just the synchronicities that happen when I'm there. It's like, oh, this just came in today, and it was like I knew right away it was for me. So but the images on these plates, it literally spoke to me as if I shapeshifted into me, realizing, oh my God, that's me. That's an image of me. That's a mirror of who I feel myself to be. That's an image of who I feel my guides are. Now I'm really excited to show you guys these goofy plates. I think I spent like $12 on the set, and again, something that, it's one of those things where you say to yourself, well, it's not something I need, and it's not really practical, but you know what? It spoke to my heart so strongly that now I feel like just showing you guys the plates is going to be a message for someone. And when you brought up the Native American spirit, I thought, wow, that really resonates with me. So actually, maybe you could grab that for me, would you? Please, the Native American, no, not the plate. The Native American, my Native Spirit deck. I'm sorry, the first one. It's on the left there. Thank you. This deck is the Conscious Spirit deck, and this is the one that Dave just pulled. And I was guided to grab, and I love this one too. Many of you guys already know that. Funny, synchronistically. Also has the Merkabah on the back, but I love these cards because it's like that as above, so below energy. It's got all of it's got the planetary systems, it's got the tree, the chakras, the chakra symbols. It's got angel wings. It's got the flower of life. It's got the triangles. So it's really just got a lot going on. And the messages that are in this deck, I always find very, very, very helpful. Mahema Satavianori Avatonia Shatonge Alinda Flashena Nyamampora. And remember, when you are following your highest joy, you're lifting and you're inspiring others, because they look at you and they say, I want that. I want to be myself like they are. I want to feel good in my skin. I want to be that. I want to experience my shapeshifter self. And maybe that means going out there and, Dave and I have several different YouTube channels that we've played with over, and some of them only have a little content, and because we're experimenting and doing different things and finding fun with, and if you guys have ever watched the Goddess Fridays, a lot of people thought we were nuts, dressing up in costumes and showing people that when you embody that image, that power within you, when you throw on that costume, you shapeshift into that energy, and it empowers other parts of you. It embraces the full colors that you are. It allows you to be more spontaneous and joyful, and not afraid to be your inner child. And how many of us didn't get to do that as children?
What was the deck that you wanted?
Native Spirit, right there on the left, right next to the unicorns. Keep going. Next to the unicorns, right in front of the unicorn. The one with the yep.
Native Spirit.
There it is. So anyway, sorry, did I miss some messages? As we're looking for cards.
Yeah, probably all kinds.
Okay.
Cynthia is here.
Cynthia! Okay, embrace change, you guys. Embrace change. Perfect for today. Embrace change. Number 31, I more easily and confidently I move easily and confidently through the changes in my life. This is what we want. This is what you guys want. This is what I want. I want to move easily and confidently. Confidence, confidence, confidence. Confidence. You are confiding in yourself. You're confiding in your guides, and you are literally confident. You are what's the word? They're showing me something. A coexistence with when you are following your joy, you are confident because you are coexisting. You're confirming your own inner guidance. I move easily and confidently through the changes in my life. As she goes to walk up the staircase, and really, isn't that what we all want, is just to move through our lives confidently, to know that we're on the right track, we're doing what we and yet every minute we have to understand that embracing change means that we embrace the idea that moment by moment things can change, and that even if I change my mind from this moment to the next, that I can move confidently and easily through that, knowing that if I've decided to make that change in this moment right now, it's because that's exactly what I need to do right now. And it allows us to give us that confidence. Don't question it. Don't question it. Confidently move through it and know that for that moment, that is what you need to do, is embrace that change. And it may change the next moment. It doesn't matter.
Well, and Stacy asked about the idea of the source of the light language coming through.
Oh,
her.
yes.
And
I wanted to answer that question too.
So the answer is you're always connecting with yourself.
Yes.
But yourself is also connected to Source, and you are part of Source. And the messages that come through are the Source and your higher self are all the path of least resistance to the information that you need to know at any given moment. So the source is always the source, but it's also always changing. It's not necessarily something you want to label as one thing. And when you start trying to label it as one thing, you're restricting the ability to receive information from all that is. And just sort of what I was hearing as you were talking about that card, other versions of yourself, other lives that you may have.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Which can be...
It can be your Pleiadian self. It could be your
other civilizations altogether.
Yes.
It could be sort of what we would think of as a past life. It could be something.
It could actually be
different.
a connection of a soul fractal of another soul that you're connecting to in that moment for whatever information and frequency that you need in that now. And then as we become more comfortable with embracing that, a lot more information will come to you as you become more confident in that. These are always going to be the first questions that most people ask me is, how do I know what's coming through and where it's coming from? And I will say to you that it will always only be from your highest self, because if that is all you're made of anyway, is love. And the only time that, and I don't even want to get into the only time, because I don't even want to say those things, because the idea is to understand that I'll even ask. The idea is the information. It's sort of like when Bashar says, okay, what's my vibration right now? And he'll say, well, it just dropped because you just asked. That's what happens. As soon as we have this need to identify, we get all befuddled. And the idea is to not need to identify it, that's how the information comes through. And it's kind of a paradox, but that's kind of how it happens. And so I can ask and I will get, or I'll get a feeling, and then, but we have to trust it. And then, so, and the other side of it is it also is kind of irrelevant, because if the message itself means something to you, or that you're guided to share it and means something to someone else, the source of it is really irrelevant. And the only way that you're going to think that it's coming from something other than benevolence is through our own fear. That doesn't mean that that you're not, it's not like you're opening up a door into like evil forces if you're negative. It's not, that's not what's happening here. You know your heart, and I know my heart. And I just know that if everything's created from source, absolutely everything, that whatever message I'm receiving, plus two, you guys have to remember, you're creator beings. Nothing enters without our permission, ever. And even if we don't understand it, even if it's to say you're having an experience on a higher level for whatever reason, for whatever your soul needs to learn, and that's what you experience, but we have to understand that's also good.
Well, I think it's important, and I'm using up the...
But I will ask, though.
I'm using up the second...
Who am I listening to, or who is the message? And sometimes they'll say to me, this is this guide, this is this guide, this is your Pleiadian self, this is your Sirian self.
So when we say the only thing that could ever be experienced is something that you allow to be experienced or invite to be experienced in some way, the way it works technically, that's funny, is not that you are allowing something to come in or inviting something to come in, negative, positive, or whatever. The actual physics of how it's actually happening is your higher self is creating the idea of the connection. So, and creating it in your reality. So you aren't actually, nothing outside of yourself is ever coming into you. You are just creating the other thing to be experienced by you as a co-creation and an agreement. So
absolutely
nothing bad could ever come into you, because your higher self, which is just a higher version of you helping to create the reality, is never going to do something bad to you. But if you want to experience it in whatever way you want, then that's your choice. So again, the source of the information is always coming from you and source. And because everything, because all parts of you are coming from source, and source is source, it's always a connection.
And yes, there's filters, and there's lots of, this is a discussion really for a whole video, which I've done several videos about this.
And I did also want to say that the connections that you have, be it light language or otherwise, the inspiration, even if it's just
to turn the different way in your car, or walk a different direction,
those things are of a quantum nature, which also means that throw time out of the equation. It's not a three-dimensional linear thing. So you might be laying in bed and just feel like you want to speak light language. That might not even really be a message coming to you. That could be that you've been inspired to communicate to another version of yourself, and it's the source is literally you connecting to another version of you who needs to hear whatever it is that they need to hear at that moment. Or maybe it's sharing a feeling that you're having, or whatever it might be, whatever's most pertinent. What's the the path of least resistance. So the idea of where does a light language come from? It could be you literally needing to communicate to another you somewhere else in another
Yes.
time frame. That's all
That's
happening
very
now.
true. That is very, very true. And um,
Mhm.
I wish I would love to, I really would love to expand on this, but and do a whole nother session on this, a whole nother video on this, which I've done tons of videos on this too, where because that's like the number one light language question. How do I know where it's coming from, and how do I know what I'm saying? How do I, and it comes with practice. It's like a muscle. It's like any other thing. It comes with practice. It comes with being more aware. And I wanted to say that reminded me of um, in the spirit of you when you first wanted to connect with me, um, and is there was no. It wasn't like, oh, he wanted a light language activation. It wasn't. It was like there was this as you explained it to me. It's just I was just guided to say connect with you. I don't know why. I have no particular questions or but I was just guided to connect with you, and so that was on the 4th of July, actually, that he contacted me, and then we met video chat for the first time on 7/7, and so anyway, it was just funny, and then the date equaled 7, so it was kind of an interesting thing. But the point is that don't hesitate if you get this invitation. I will say I call it an invitation from your guides to connect with somebody. Don't hesitate to connect with them, and don't have any insistence on what it has to be, or and that's one of the things that how I ended up doing the sessions the way I ended up doing them was because they sort of include absolutely everything that could come to me, whether that's crystals or oracle readings or light language activation. So they're very multidimensional kinds of sessions, and but the idea is don't hesitate to reach out, and connect with somebody, even if you think, don't ever think that you're not equal to everyone else. And it's, I so this is the Native Spirit deck. I just wanted to go someplace with this really quick, but this is my very first deck. And so as you were talking about the Native American spirits, and so I wanted to, and the first card that I pulled or turned over, interestingly, is offerings, and this is Stonehenge. And we were, a friend of ours was just in the UK for the solstice, and was there at Stonehenge for the solstice. And so he was just talking about it today, actually. And so this offerings card made me think about how when the offerings go both directions. And so as we offer ourselves to our higher guidance, we then are able to also receive the guidance, and then we can offer that experience to all that is. Simply by having the experience, we are offering that to our soul. We are offering to our soul that we are going to have this experience in order for our soul to grow, and that for all that is through us. We are source. We are the dreams of source, the dreams of God, the eyes, all of every single thing in creation is source wanting to understand more of itself. And so we offer that back to all that is when we offer ourselves to our highest joy, when we offer a blessing, when we offer to assist somebody else. We're also receiving offerings from our guides. And as we grow and expand and we share that, we are then returning that offering to all that is, saying, this is what I'm experiencing. And by doing that, we learn more and more of know thyself. The more we know thyself, the more experience we and the more we allow to embrace that I don't necessarily need to identify where my light language is coming from to know that it is my bliss, it is my joy, and the way it makes me feel, and the way others have expressed to me how it makes them feel is really it is our answer. And of course there's all sides to this, which I would love to explore with any and all of you that wish to explore this more fully, whether it's in another hangout like this, whether it's in a private gathering. We've actually been considering also doing some Zoom hangouts that are private, like so we've been talking a lot about that, because a lot of people don't necessarily want to discuss this on the air, and discuss it out openly on YouTube, or they don't necessarily want to be in a Zoom room and talking to the public. So I've been thinking a lot about doing that as well, that a lot of people want to explore this stuff and maybe in a more close-knit setting. And so maybe offering that out too, say, let's do some personal private Zoom hangouts together, and they're not broadcast, they're just so that we can be more offering of ourselves and being more open and vulnerable with our emotions, and sharing light languages with each other. Maybe you want to play and experiment and do it in a group setting so that we can bounce things off of each other and feel the things that we feel from each other and get activated from each other. And it allows me to share stuff in my light languages, my symbols, and whatever music and songs and symbols and hand signs that come through. So it allows me to express myself more fully as well, and allows it to, for us to do that. So if it's something you guys are interested in, let me know. I can set something up generically and just say I'm going to do it on this day, and we'll just do it. But let me know if it's something that you guys are interested in. And if you guys have some friends maybe that you guys want to do like a kind of a friend kind of group gathering kind of a thing, and we can do light languages readings and activations and stuff, and play with the drums and music and all that too. So I love playing with these ideas. And it's funny because last night, was it last night?
Mm-hmm.
Last night we were fooling around and impromptu once again did a video with drumming and light languages, because I just felt like I wanted to express myself. And then we realized how the mics were like really distorted with the drums, and I didn't like the way it sounded, and I was really upset, and I did not want to post it. We actually ended up editing some of the stuff out that was just too, like, I couldn't even listen to it myself. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not posting that. So there's another message, you guys. It doesn't have to be perfect to post it. And boy, did he tell me that last night. And it's not perfect. And some of it sounds like, it was driving me crazy. But the point is that we did it, and I was not going to post it, and I did it anyway. I posted it anyway. So I apologize if it sounds like really bad. But so we've been playing with the mics and playing with stuff and playing with drums. And so what did I pull just a moment ago was Thunder Drum, the Thunder Drum card. So that's why we were kind of laughing in that. Where are you wanting to beat your drum, and where are you afraid, and where are you thinking you're not perfect enough, and you're not good enough, and you can't compare to this person or that person? Look, you guys, I'm still playing. I'm still experimenting after 7 years online and doing this stuff and doing private sessions and doing live events and public events. I still hesitate to do stuff and think it's got to be perfect. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. And you know what? It just wasn't. It is what it is. It was what it was. And I was just beating my drum, following my highest joy. And, don't wait. And we've all heard this before. Don't wait for conditions to be perfect to act, because conditions are never going to be perfect. So just act. Just do it. Beat your drum. Get your drum out. Whatever that means. It doesn't have to be a physical drum. Get your paints out. Get your drawings out. Get your voice out. Get your light languages on. If you already speak light languages and you're scared to put yourself out there, guess what? I know exactly what that feels like.
So I'm going to read this out loud. Heather Houston. I thought it was awesome. Love Dave in the background with the drums.
That was so funny. That was one of the reasons he really wanted me to post that, because he was pretty proud of that.
I thought that was...
He thought it was ingenious. I thought it was great. So thank you, Heather, for saying that. So see, you guys, I'm just like you. I'm just experimenting. I am not by any means. What is perfect? We're all perfect. We're all perfect because we're all unique. That's what makes us all perfect. We are perfect expressions of God, perfect expressions of Source. So if you believe in your heart that what you have to share, and if you want to learn light languages and speak light languages, all you have to know is that is all that's going to come through is what you want, the love, the divineness that comes through. And I will say to you guys, in all honesty, I swear to God, in all my ET connections, my ET contacts, my all of the beings and collectives that have ever come, and that I've been connected with the frequency, I've never, ever, ever once had a bad experience, a negative experience, a scary, nothing ever. And I know we got to go because this is not what this is supposed to turn into.
Well, we've now
But I want
determined
you to tell
that
people
one
about you.
one
Yeah.
turn of the hourglass is not
It's
enough.
not enough, but I so wanted to stick to this.
We'll
So I
get
love
there.
you guys for sharing and sticking and staying with us. This is so awesome. Thank you so much. But I wanted you to tell everybody about your dream. So we've been talking a lot about our connections with our hybrid children and our guides, and Dave and I are always looking out the front, well, looking out at the stars, going and seeing, the ship there. And I said yesterday, I said, we have enough room in our front yard for the scout ships to land. And I said, I know, and mothership can't land here. I said, and I was literally getting so excited about visualizing this scout ship landing, and our hybrid children getting out and introducing themselves, and the parents that have been taking care of them. So if you're unfamiliar with hybrid children, that's a whole nother story. So if it sparks your interest, more and more we're going to be talking about hybrid children, and our hybrid children, the hybrid children, something that's very close to my heart as well. But the idea of picturing what it would be like if our star family landed and wanted to interact with you, and how to not have a heart attack.
Well, so my dream was essentially that Wendy and I, along with others, uh, some of which were people we didn't know, but local people from the area, but it could have also been just other soul family people, were sort of renovating a building, an old school building, but it wasn't really that old looking, but it was old. Had been there for, according to what the other people said, we don't know how long it's been so long. But it didn't look old, but we were renovating it to use as a school for the hybrid children, who I think in the dream were already here.
Here.
They just weren't there because the school wasn't ready. But the school was also not meant just for the hybrid children. It was meant for all the kids of the
So
community.
it was the combination.
So it was a new school being put together for the new version of our reality that included the hybrid children that were part of our community. And that was pretty exciting.
It was very exciting, and I don't want to paraphrase it, but there was a part of it, and I felt like sharing this is activating somebody out there. So whoever's watching this,
So
if you're
part-
watching it now or later, I feel like this is an activation for someone.
So as we were cleaning up
Yes, that's the part.
stage in the auditorium area, we uncovered Hebrew writing that was hidden, but it was sort of like almost like comic books written in Hebrew.
Things made for children.
Made for children. But that was unexpected. So
I just wanted to impress upon the idea that it's important to, when you're going to sleep, to, visualize what it is that you want to do. And if it's connecting or speaking light languages or whatever, literally see yourself doing it. And, but this specifically is interesting to me too, because when I started writing symbols. Like I was receiving all of these light code circuitry symbols, and they began downloading this information and letting me know that, when we're sharing these symbols with each other, that we are literally activating these multidimensional aspects of ourselves. And as you guys gaze at these, as I create them, as I look at them myself, I'm changing the literal synapses in my brain to accept this new information. And one of the things that I was guided to when I very first started this, and this was before I met Dave, long before I met Dave, I started seeing this connection, which I've shared in several of my videos. I started to seeing a connection between Hebrew letters and light language and symbols and Sanskrit and all this. So anyway, that again, subjects for another day. But I've covered a little bit of a lot of this stuff in a lot of my other videos. So, but there was something else that I just felt was worth sharing tonight about that idea, and about the dreams and about hybrid children. So when we talk about activations and light language activations, part of the light language activation is not just activating light languages. It's about activating your light. It's about activating your brain synapses that are switching and changing now. And it's about activating your capacity to interact multidimensionally. It activates your capacity to remember your dreams. And it activates your capacity to literally, all of us, to move vibrationally to the version of Earth. Because remember, we're not changing the version we're on. We're all changing our vibration to move to a version of reality that includes this, includes the hybrid children, includes creating schools for interacting with humans and our hybrid families and becoming this extraordinary race of beings. And this is part of what Source itself wants to experience through souls, and our souls is to experience that a new creation of race of beings has never been before. And this is one of the things that Source wishes to experience for itself, is creating a whole new race of beings on a new, different vibrational reality planet. And there's billions and billions of versions of these realities, moment by moment, that Source and all of us are experiencing simultaneously. And this is one of the messages that they've asked me to share from the very beginning, is it activates so many things within us that quantumly.
And to move toward a galactic.
Yes, a galactic version even of ourselves.
Not stuck on planet Earth.
Exactly.
So I do want to leave.
Yes, we got to go, you guys.
with a very important message. So in some of the raw teachings,
yes,
it talks about the importance of being able to share your learning and teaching with at least one other. And I always say to Wendy, when we question, should we make videos? Should we do this? Should we talk about this? What should we share? And I always say, we only really need one person that cares. And we really, you do it anyway.
Yep.
But today, Heather responded, also it was creative, it was a nice surprise. So Heather is, and we're eternally grateful, is at least the one person that enjoyed our video from last night.
From last night.
And from a higher perspective, that one person, we have no idea how many others that one person really represents. And I don't mean figuratively, I just mean energetically.
Yes.
So it could be, thousands and millions of other versions of Heather that got to share that experience.
Yes, exactly. God, I'm so glad you said that.
So you can't
quantum.
count, even on the YouTube counts and the Facebook.
I don't pay attention to any of those things, guys.
They're meaningless.
They don't mean anything to me, because I know on a quantum level that doesn't mean anything.
But having confirmation that one person enjoyed even one moment of the things that we do is enough to know that we're doing the right thing and following our highest joy and excitement. even though it might be aggravating sometimes because microphones have a hard time with drum noises, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we've been. Was literally like him playing with that a lot of the day today for figuring things out. So we do appreciate always your good vibrations yourself, and the joy and excitement you guys bring to me, to us. It's exciting for me, and thank you to all of you who've been watching my channel for a long time. And I'm very excited that now I have someone to share my excitement with in doing these videos, and so I was just wanted to express how appreciative I was that you guys are here and how much I love to do this. And
we appreciate all of you who are watching now and in the future, and at any reality that you may exist in now.
And in the spirit of the whole reading today, remember that, you guys, it only takes one person, and if you're excited to do something, that means that there is at least one person who needs to see or feel, experience what it is that you have to share, or you wouldn't be excited to do it. So there's always at least one, and you only need one. And so I'm really glad that you brought that up. And sometimes I think too that, I will often say that, we would have never met had I not gone on YouTube. And so for all of you guys who want to give birth to something new, whether it's presenting yourself on social media for the first time or in a new way, or just letting your freak flag fly, just do it. Go, honor yourself. Like I said, we've been playing with other YouTube channels. Some things we enjoy, some things we haven't gone back to yet, some things we're gonna go back to. But there's such a strong message within me right now with this whole reading tonight about you, about all of us, banging your drum, whatever that actually means, and starting something new without any insistence on the numbers and the counts and any of that. I was terrified when I did my first video, and it's pretty bad, speaking of sound and stuff, and I was terrified. But I did it with no insistence, and the best part is this, that today, in this now, in this moment, that I am sitting with whom and where I am with all of you because of that first video. So I feel that there's a big message for all of us tonight, and so wherever and whenever you are, whether this is already tomorrow for all of you, and also I just wanted to remind you that I'll put the link again below. We have the link for the up-and-coming event with Jonathan Trinity Martin, who will be channeling his ET friends and the Yael, one of the hybrid races. And so it's going to be just a live broadcast, live chat, just like this, where you'll all be invited to bring your questions for Jonathan and his ET friends. If you're curious to know whatever it is that you want to ask, he's graciously, graciously said he would lovingly accept your questions. And so if you can't be there, it's going to be on July 18th at 3 p.m. our time, Central Time. And so just if you've got questions ahead of time, go ahead and I will put the link for the live chat where we're actually going to be broadcasting. And you can actually enter, put questions in the live chat if you're not going to be there at the time, and we'll do our best to get all the questions answered. So we're excited for all of you to come and interact, and maybe maybe it's the first time you've ever interacted and asked a question, of another ET species. So I wanted to invite you all for that as well, and to remind you, and then I wanted to let you know that I did create the link, if you hadn't seen it already, for the live Q&A, and then that's where we'll be taking questions. So
let us end with a light language blessing.
That's the way.
And I have an intention for it.
All right.
A reminder in light language of all the things in our vortex
Yes.
that are waiting to be realized by all of us.
And just know, you guys, just see them. They're all already. It's already there. It's already floating around you. If you've already made a mental image of something, you've already put your order into the universe. So know that everything's on its way that is relevant for your highest path. Ne deve somo seve sholo hule ketena soponon koshea leve somo shepena tiamano meava elakete, and allow these frequencies that are delivered through my guides, through Nyatobeshe Novale Sembonle Visondaya Nia Lavesto Mishatopiava Aleto Vishnu Palo Vasoe, in the perfect way that you need to receive it. Navesomola Shawa La Yinda Yava Samoya Bakaleava Sopa Plahito Via Nanina Kola Kota de Visono Plavia La Yinana Makua Pato Legete. And I will say some of my experiences that I don't share with you guys is what I'm experiencing like right now, as I literally start to see the images, Bodhi, Avasome, Avahoa, of my guides. I begin to see the archetypal, the Christ consciousness, Yeshua, and my angel guides, my Native American spirit guides, Yota Vishimola, Hisana, I feel my Syrian, my guides from Sirius. Navisobole Vishanubeva Enea. So as we discuss activation, allow these activations to activate within you your joy, your excitement, your experimentation, your fun. No balavesope shere se saveshano teve alma hilakateve sebe shono teve shinoso imaso. And perfectionism is simply understanding you're already perfect. Blavesobore shene saveshomaya elese inaya kotave samo save intea seseva shonoye meteva so sevinia ivoso pilando yavahela ina. So Emily, the emissaries of the Light Collective, remind me of their presence right now, and nafoso veshene telea, because they're excited to share in your excitement and your expansion. Nevesobales and opole, and as they explained to me, that they are a representation of my higher selves, of Potoveshan, Ese, and my fractals, as well as Nevo Ele, Melonte, my um, angelic spirit. Ivasumesha Vahewa Isiva Sumuleva. Plajune Tise Sumete. So understand that when you're receiving or speaking light language, that it's all are gathered at the table. Nuvasovishane say va osheva say it's like a symphony. Davasomodevasene you say tivasoma. So at every tone, every intonation, every malivesomea ki sevishan so se ilea, it's this symphony that I feel coming through, of this collective of all of that which is the highest parts of me. Maybe that's the best way to explain my source of light language. Yeah, let's just say the best parts of me, and all those parts and parts and parts and parts. Because there are only the best parts of us. There is no wrong or bad or parts of you. They're just experiences. I remember that movie, Love Means Never Having to Say You're Sorry, love story. And when I understood that, because we're all having experience, there's no need for judgment or forgiveness, because it's just a beautiful, loving experience. And when you understand that everything is love, there's no need to apologize for who you are, who you wish to be, who you want to be, who you have been, the good, bad, and the ugly, however we want to see it. I see I could go on and on. I love you.
Thank you, everyone. We love you.
Love you.
Namaste.
Namaste.